Welcome to the hashtag Run 302 podcast. Before we get into the actual episode, we thought it was very important, for the Cross family, the administration, coaches, teachers, students, to send our condolences to the Mumford family and the Laurel community. Thoughts and prayers with them.
Yeah, I just would like to say one more thing for what AJ's saying. The whole staff here, Corey was here as a junior, and just a good kid while he was here. And I would just like to send our condolences, our love to his family, the Laurel community, and just we love you. And that's all I can say, AJ. I'm sorry.
That's fine. So like I said, this was a little bit of a prelude before we get into our actual episode. Very important to us. And like I said, thoughts, prayers, anyone needs, to talk, reach out. We're here.
Amen.
Welcome back to the hashtag Run 302 podcast. This is season 1, episode 10, season review. Back with our head of school, Mr. Donald Porter, after a couple-week hiatus.
Yeah, and I'd like to say congratulations to Ty and Gage, both great kids, both worked hard.
Yep. And of course, yesterday.
Well, you can say that. Yeah, I'm not I'm not going to take your.
So like I said, last 2 episodes, you guys, if you watch the podcast, you've seen commitment part 1 with Tyrese Ty Fortune, him telling his story about how he got here, what it was like playing here, and then of course his commitment to Wilmington U. Then last week, of course, you saw commitment part 2 with Gage Wintermoyer. He talked about how he got here, his story before Cross Christian, how he got here, his time here, and of course his commitment to Word of Life. So yesterday, in fact, we also have another commitment. Trevor T.J. Gibson will be joining Gage Wintermoyer at Word of Life. So they played at Del Mar together, they've played here together, and now they're going to be playing in college together. Pretty neat story there.
Awesome.
Coaches have already guaranteed they're going to be rooming and dorming together, all that kind of stuff. So
book to follow.
That'll be very fun. Yeah, that'll be very interesting for sure. But the plan was to give everybody their own individual, episode for this, for their commitment. And that's why I've been saying there's going to be 5 parts of the commitment part. But Trevor, TJ, he's more of a enclosed person. He doesn't really like the spotlight on him, and
way to go, TJ.
That makes a lot of sense. But
TJ,
we wanted to still give him his flowers, as they say. Give him his flowers and all. So congratulations, TJ, and of course congratulations Ty and Gage before that as well, and still got 2 more to go. Yep. So we'll have those episodes when those commitments happen. But anyway, so this is going to be our season in review. We're going to talk about the season. We're going to talk about some individual stats, our players, what they did, and talk about some certain games. Obviously you weren't able to travel that much with us because of our times that we left and things like that. But
the 1 o'clock.
You watched them. You watched a lot of games. What's a game that kind of sticks out to you?
I'm going to go all the way to the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But the tournament that we were in, give me this.
Rosedale.
Rosedale. I think one of the young men here said that's one of the things they thought we could come out of there.
Yep.
That was a tough one.
Yeah.
It was a good little tournament.
Yep.
Ups and downs, like we like to say. We have our great games, and we have games we're going to struggle.
Yep.
But that tournament, I think that game we thought we were going to struggle, we probably
should have had.
Yeah, almost had her.
I would
almost
argue.
Had her.
Yeah, I would argue.
Almost had her. And then and I know I go way back to the beginning, but the beginning is the beginning.
Yep.
That's how it all starts, and that's why you want to start with the ebbs and flows.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that weekend, it was going really well, and the kids were all doing the thing for the first time.
Yep. Together, learning to play together,
Absolutely.
learning how everybody fit in.
Absolutely. And it was just, and I was watching it, and saying, "Oh, we can do this." And you know how you go into this. Well, you know me. You always talk about me being, he's the pessimist. He's the guy.
I like to say you're a glass half empty kind of person.
All right. And that way when he does get full, I'm happy.
Yeah.
But I would rather gone out of there and I ain't gonna like this, getting beat by 22 or 25. Going, I knew we were gonna come up a little short. But man, when you're in it, then you start the expectations start kind of like, we're here.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think kudos to them. They played a great game. They did the same thing. They played 3 games. They played 4 games in 2 days, just like we did. Obviously, we had the trip back and forth though.
We have that built in.
We
you
also
gotta say that.
we also only had 7 bodies, and they were rotating 10 guys in.
Yep.
You know, and at
And
the
that's
end
our
of the day,
fault, and we do that for a purpose.
Yep. And at the end of the day, you know, we had a 6 or 7 point lead with 3 or 4 minutes left. And then some shots just stopped falling for us. And, you know, they had a kid that, you know, he ended up scoring 25 or 26 that game. He started hitting some shots.
Right.
Hit one off the backboard that, you know, he didn't. I'm pretty sure he didn't call glass on. But you know,
I'm sure he did now.
Yeah.
That's the story.
But yeah, you know, that was one that we were going to talk about for sure. But you know, first and foremost, I guess we'll talk about, you know, we were 12-12.
Yeah.
Finished 12-12. You know, our score for and score against differential is maybe the closest I've ever seen. So we scored 7. We averaged 71 points a game, and we gave up 70 points a game.
Yeah.
We were 1 point better than our opponents this year.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
But you said we're 12-12, but we're also going to be 5 for 5.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is,
the most important thing, like we said, you know, we've said it 2 or 3 times. I said it on the podcast, with Tyrese, and we were talking about the season, and it was a little disappointment record-wise, I think. But at the end of the day, 5-6 years from now, people are going to forget the record, and they're going to remember that all 5 of those kids went on.
And the record was against I mean, the teams we played. I mean, you're going to talk more about it as you get into it, but that's our goal.
Yeah,
our goal is to get everybody out of here, get to a college. But the record is great. It's wonderful. I mean, but we want them kids to keep that education going, them young men to keep playing ball and doing their thing. So
and at the end of the day, here's the truth too. No matter how good you are, there's always going to be people out there better than you. And at the end of the day, if you're winning, if you're going, 25, 30 and 1, 30, you're probably not playing the competition you should be playing.
Right.
That's the truth.
And we did take it up a notch.
And we did. Yep.
Yeah, we took it up a notch this year. Some of those teams just.
And then we had some teams that bowed out on us.
Yeah.
We won't go into more of that, but we did have another 4 or 5 games that we scheduled that got canceled and bowed out on, and that could have boosted us a little bit.
It would have. That's kind of why they bowed out. But
I digress.
Yeah, I should have said that. It's my fault.
But yeah, so we started the season off 3-1. And then we went to the longest trip of the season. We went all the way to Virginia Beach.
Yep.
Atlantic Shore is a very, very good program over there. They have a kid that their dad is the D1 head coach at Norfolk State. He's a freshman. They were the runner-up for the state championship in Virginia last year. We were down 12 at halftime.
Right.
Came back and won that game. Very good game for us. I don't think that was streamed, was it?
No.
No, that one was streamed. Yeah.
No.
So then, we had Cristo Ray in Philadelphia coming up on that, and they had a D1 commit on their team as their big man went to he's going to Lafayette, and then their wing, that's a 2025, just got 2 other D1 offers, and he's got 2 more years left. So, so that was a very good game. Lost by 10 without our 6'8" kid. Had we had our 6'8" kid, who knows? Who knows what would have happened? But we didn't. And we lost that one as well. But they made a lot of noise this year in Philadelphia. They're an upstart program. Their coach, is a circuit AAU coach, so he's going to be bringing in talent.
Yeah.
So, you know how that goes.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. What's you did come with the holiday tournament.
A dome.
Yeah, you did come with us all three games of the holiday tournament. You want to talk about that?
That's always been a little struggle for us, and I think
travel.
I think it is the back-to-back
3 out of 4
to back. Some of those trips, but it's great competition. Once again, it's an ebb and flow tournament. There's teams that you're going to be able to be with, and other teams you're going to have to go get. You're going to have to go get. And to our detriment or credit, we travel with 7 or 8 kids. That's what we do because our kids, we want them to play and be seen. And over in Jersey, we're playing quarters. In Pennsylvania, we're playing halves.
Yep.
But it was a good tournament. I think we battled. We did the best we could. Did somebody go down?
No, that was a couple weeks later.
It was later.
That was a couple weeks later. We had an injury. Yeah.
Okay.
But no, that's the one. Honestly, the tournament is the one that sticks with me the most.
The Dome?
The Dome tournament.
The holiday. Okay.
The holiday tournament.
Yeah.
And the Spartan Classic sticks with me the most because
you won it.
You
want that bad, right?
We had the second round. We had the second round against a very good Prep A team in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And we started that game up 15-0. and we led the entire way. We're up 13 at halftime. By the end of the third quarter, it was a tied game going into the fourth, and we just couldn't hold on.
Yeah.
So.
Did we run out of gas?
I think we ran out of gas.
I
think we were so hyped up.
Yeah.
I did a little rah-rah speech in the locker room before the game. And I think they spilled so much emotion in that first half that once you had the break, it was hard to keep the emotion. And maybe that's my fault. But I always believe it's my job to have them ready to play.
But once again, we know that some of the teams we play, they're just like the college teams. Some they do runs, man. Yep. When they run, you got to be ready to fight that run. And
that's what they do. They push that ball.
Absolutely.
They push. Shipley on a make or a miss, doesn't matter. Right. Some on a make. This is how they play. On a make, the big man grabs the ball out of the net, doesn't even fall to the ground. He grabs it out of the net, steps out, goes to the point guard, gone.
Well, that's what the boy said when you were talking to him. Mm-hmm. I mean, that the biggest thing was the speed of the game.
Yep.
And it is. It does take on. I'm saying it's up a notch, man, or maybe 2 notches or 3 notches.
We had a parent here when we had that game with Olympus Prep here, 97-93 final score. That was 8-minute quarters, by the way. Right. 97-93, 8-minute quarters. Oh my gosh, I've never seen scoring like this, blah, 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 right. Up and down. I was like, well, 1, the skill level is higher with who we play, and 2, the speed. Right. And they're going to push the ball. Yeah, no, and to our, like I said, to what we want to do here, to our, what we look for is we want to go. We want to, we want to speed it up. Yep. You've talked to both the guys, and that's what they said. They said that's the biggest difference. Yep, size and speed is the biggest difference between what we play and DIAA. But we'll go ahead and take a break there, and we'll come back. We'll give you one of our sponsors, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to the #Run302 podcast. This is Season 1, Episode 10, reviewing our year. Of course, I'm back with the head of school, Mr. Donald Porter. I'm Coach AJ. Right before we left off, we were talking about Christmas break. We have that Christmas tournament every year, and we just haven't won it yet. I think we've kind of with that Christmas tournament, we've always kind of stacked the deck against ourselves a little bit. With the traveling, 3 games in 4 days, 6 or 7 guys every team, like we talked about. But we're not going to get out of it until we win it. Then we might reevaluate things. Maybe. We'll see.
We're not going to run until we get it.
But people always ask us why we aren't in the Governor's Challenge or Slam Dunk to the Beach or any of that stuff. And like we tell people all the time, one is our goal is always to get out of Delaware, get out of this area, and let other people see us, because there's college coaches that come to that tournament.
Absolutely.
And don't get me wrong, I know college coaches go to Slam Dunk to the Beach and they go to the Governor's Challenge, but like you said, we're already playing 3 games in 4 days. Then you have Governor's Challenge and Slam Dunk to the Beach that is kind of sandwiched in there. Then we're going to talk to our kids. Then we're going to be asking our kids to play 4 in like 5 days or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's just not reasonable to ask for 18, 19 year
old. It's hard enough to. I mean, we go back and forth enough about health as it is to make sure everybody stays healthy. Let alone add something in there that's going to drive them even more. Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, maybe one day, if we win the tournament, maybe we'll reevaluate things then, because we're always looking to progress. Right, go forward.
Everything, but until that day comes, that's what we're going to do.
And they run a good tournament up there.
Absolutely,
ran
well.
Right.
It always starts. The games always start on time. All that stuff. The refs are, solid. Those kind of things. He always has 3 refs for every game.
And we've done it a while. We've done it for a little while now, and we know that people are sitting in the stands there, and why? Because we've had people come out to talk to us afterwards. I mean, it's not us just talking; it's fact. So
absolutely. And Dan Williamson, who's the was the AD there, and still the head basketball coach, stepped down from the AD position, but also on our board.
Right, absolutely.
He knows a lot of college coaches, and Doan is a program that gets a lot of attention with college coaches. Right. Like you said, there's always coaches in the stands for that.
And we look at it. We go up there just because we want to cross. We want to talk to different people. We want to get those connections.
Yeah, and actually, besides the college coaches, I guess this is still a college coach in the stands, but he wasn't there to really scout. But I found out afterwards, the tournament, one of the parents for Shipley was a assistant coach for Stockton College. Oh, okay. And then one of Doan's kids actually shot the ball so well that he's going to Stockton now, because that coach was there in attendance and was interested in it.
And that's what we tell our kids all the time.
You never know you never know who's watching. You never know.
And how you act when you hit it and when you miss it is they're all standing there just watching your reaction. And like that game, like you said, that one game we went to was Phelps, and they come talk to you because of how you act.
It was Hamilton Hall.
Okay.
It was
All right,
Hamilton
yep,
Hall.
yep.
And like I told, so we had college coaches come in for 2 guys.
Right.
And I don't know if they were nervous. Maybe I shouldn't have told them. As a coach, you always wonder, should I tell the guy there's a coach coming? But then you want them to be, on the up and up and all that stuff. So you want them to kind of know, have some kind of thing. And I don't know if they were a little nervous or whatever. They didn't play their best game. But like I had already told them going into that, I'm like, listen, if a college coach is taking out of their day all the responsibilities they have to come see you play, they already know you can play.
Right.
They're coming to see everything else. They're coming to see how you react when things aren't going your way. How do you treat your teammates? How do you respond to coaching?
Yeah.
How do do you get on the refs about not getting calls? That's what they're there to watch.
Help the other guy up. I had someone say, geez.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I said, if a college coach is coming to see you play, believe me, they already believe you can play. They're there for the other stuff.
Correct. Yeah, you're right.
Because they're not going to take their time to come.
We've said all the time when they do even call you or call me.
Yeah.
They don't ask us about the court.
Nope.
They want to ask us about other things, And that's what
Is he a good student? Will he stay eligible? Do I have to hold his hand through life?
Absolutely. And that's what I always say to them. Look, we want to be able to say the right things, but you got to do the right things for us to be able to go forward with it. Because once again, we're having those connections up in those areas in PA and New Jersey, Maryland, and we're going to tell the truth.
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
Know what I mean?
Because here's the thing. I'm not. I tell them all the time. I'm like, listen to me. I'm not going to lie for you.
No.
Because here's the problem. I lie for you, and then you go and do something you shouldn't do at the college. I've burnt that bridge for every player. Every player I ever coached going forward, I burnt that bridge with that coach because I lied for you. I'm not going to lie for you.
No,
I'm going to tell it when they ask me a question.
But that's how come you're honest all year.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to do the right things. I mean, like we said earlier before we went on, is that, we may give them the opportunity to do it, but they've got to do the work. They've got to do the right things. They've got to do the real stuff.
Yep.
And I know you don't like to call it work, but, but to me, you've got to put out there. I mean, we can't do it, but we're going to be honest. This is his GPA. This is what's going on in his life.
Yep.
And how many times they go to the multimedia and look, or social media, excuse me.
All the time.
All the time.
I mean, we had, matter of fact, with TJ and Gage, the schools they were applying for.
Yep.
They're Christian-based schools. The colleges that they're were applying for and are going to attend. Right on the application, they asked for their Instagram handle, they asked for their Twitter handle, and they asked for their Facebook names.
Yeah,
because that's the first thing they were going to go check.
Absolutely, and that all weighs
huge. You can believe me, you can lose a scholarship based on what you say on social media.
You can
100%.
You can lose a scholarship.
Yeah, you can lose a scholarship based on that.
Absolutely,
Yeah. Kids don't. For some reason, kids don't think that's true, but you can
they
absolutely.
think that delete button's delete.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it takes as a screenshot.
Yeah,
they think that something that was 2013 that they tweeted when they were young and immature and dumb. Maybe you're a different person now, but how many times have we seen somebody blow up?
Oh, yeah.
And, get to the pros, blow up, and then somebody goes back on their social media 10, 15 years, finds something, and that's a whole thing, and they get canceled.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And the best thing about you and what we do here is you have that conversation. I bet you have it every day.
I do.
I mean, when one of the guys
Absolutely.
or one way or the other, you have it every day.
I'm like, I don't think I would post that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, listen, understand something. I'm not going to tell you what to do. But I'm just going to tell you, if I was in your shoes, I wouldn't
I think
do that.
we're both like that in real life. I mean, we think way out there before we do anything.
Well, because we've been
once
there.
again, my cup's half full.
Yeah.
So I mean,
yeah. No, so getting back to our schedule, so we had the holiday tournament, and then we came back and we had we had a couple games. We had a two-week layoff from the holiday tournament because we had 3 games get canceled in that stretch, unfortunately. So then we had. Come right off of that 2-week layoff, which I hate going 1 to 2 weeks between games because it's almost like starting the season over. To be honest with you,
yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So then we go to Quality Academy Prep, which is big, physical, complete post grad team. Everybody on there's a 5th year. 2 6'8" guys, huge, and we get handled pretty well. We battled the first quarter and then got out of hand a little bit, but. Like you said, again, at the end of the day, it's all about playing that level.
Yep.
You play at that level. You play at that speed.
And I think one of the players said that as he went along, they adapted. They tried to. You have to.
You get used to it.
Well, you have to. I mean, either that,
or you're not.
You realize
getting any
this
looks.
exactly, or
this
you're not.
May not be for you.
You said what I was thinking exactly.
Yep.
But that's the first thing you understand is that you've either got to get going or get going.
Yeah.
I mean, either way, you got to be going.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, the schedule got. Because we had all those like winnable games get canceled,
right?
But the schedule after the Christmas tournament was brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Got tough.
We had West Nottingham, another prep school.
Right.
6 or 7 post-grads on their team. Quality Academy Prep, obviously. West Nottingham twice, actually. Olympus again. Then, of course, we have Phelps, which everybody's heard us harp on Phelps from day one since we played them.
Yep.
So, if you don't believe us, go look up Phelps basketball and go watch one of their games. Go watch some of them and
Go to our YouTube channel and see some
go
of
to our
the,
YouTube.
Yeah,
I mean, they had a
See some of the
7-foot
stuff out
kid,
there, yeah.
a legit 7-foot kid, and then they had 2 wings. They play 4 out, 1 in. They have a 7-foot kid and the 2 wings that were 6'8" also.
Right,
Wings.
right.
Playing, Delaware, someone would throw them under the basket in Delaware. But,
yeah.
But anyway, I digress.
We'll leave that alone.
Yeah, we'll leave that alone too. But yeah, so the schedule got pretty hard. Like I said, because all the winnable games, even though.
And we try to schedule like that.
Yeah.
We try to schedule the ups and downs.
Yeah,
I mean,
like I said, ups and downs, because every level you're going to have good teams and bad teams.
Right.
I mean, that's.
And next year we'd be different. The year before we're different. I mean, so you don't know when you're going to have that challenge.
We try to schedule to our talent at the end of the day.
Yeah.
If we have guys that are all looking to go D2, D3, D1 or something like that, we're going to schedule that.
Right. And we're blessed enough to have that connections that we can at least call around and talk to people, or at least you do. I don't anymore.
Yeah.
But.
We had Hamilton Hall twice at the end. We had them one here, and that was a great game.
Right.
And then the crowd, that was probably our most packed game, I think, the Hamilton Hall game.
Yeah.
Lost by 9 or 10. It was a really good game here. Then we went there, played them on their bigger court, and got beat up. It was a back-to-back.
Right.
And then what we didn't know at the time was then we took another long 3-hour trip to Broadford in Christian, and that we didn't know at the time because we had 3 other games scheduled. That was going to be our final game, and we ended up, winning that one. Didn't play very well, but I think we're kind of not jet lagged because we didn't fly there, but van lagged.
Right,
we'll call it van lagged. I think it was just a long trip. It was 3.5 hours there and back, and I think we got up pretty early, and I think we kind of took the foot off the gas, and then the other team gets some confidence. Right. And they start, hitting
and they're
shots.
Home,
and,
so
and they're home.
Yeah, and they're home. They're there, and and one.
They've been there shooting all day.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because I found out later they didn't have school that day.
Okay.
So what do you think their kids were doing all day?
They're getting
Probably
ready
on the gun.
Right. No, they're getting ready.
Yep. So, but we'll go ahead and take our final break, and when we come back, we'll talk about some of the in-season stats for a couple of our guys. Welcome back to the final session of #Run302 podcast. Once again, this is season 1, episode 10, season review. We had talked about all of the games that we had this year, our 12-12, how many points, and all those kind of things. So now we're going to go through some of the individual stats for our players. And we keep all these stats up on Max Preps. Everybody has their own, system they use to keep stats and all those things. I think I like Max Preps a lot because they automate it for you. It's quick and simple, and convenient. But I know a lot of teams in Delaware don't really use Max Preps. They kind of just use the school website. But it's hard to find stats anywhere for the guys on Delaware. And I think with what we do, it's very important to have stats that you can give to coaches.
Absolutely. So they can log right on or take a peek and then call you.
Yep, absolutely. So we're going to talk about it. Our top 3 this year for points per game, was Tyrese, with 22.5 points a game. And then we had Marvin and Cam, Marvin Fletcher and Cameron Moore, both averaging right around 15 points a game to round out the top 3. At assists, we had Marvin, averaging 7 assists a game. TJ was averaging 6, and Cameron averaging 5.
Very across the board,
very solid across the board. Yeah. Rebounds, which is our big struggle. We really struggled to rebound the basketball. But again, like I tell everybody we played had 7-footers. Yeah. Everybody we played had a 6'8", 6'9" kid. No. So Ty averaged 10.5 points, 10.5 rebounds a game.
Yeah.
And then TJ and Cameron averaged 5 apiece as well.
Well, and once again, like you say, I mean,
and those are both guards.
They're out high, they're out. So they had big bounce off the rim. Them rims were lively.
Yeah.
For them to get that right.
Yep, absolutely. Gage obviously led us in 3-pointers. He made 42 3-pointers. So the shooting was a big thing for us. But like I said, the big thing was no doubt we were able to get stops actually. Like I said, when we said at the beginning of the show we were averaging 70 points a game given up.
Right.
We got stops we just couldn't get the rebounds afterwards.
Right,
And then,
right.
second and
How
third
many
opportunities.
efforts, yeah.
Other teams were getting 10, 15 extra opportunities a game than we were, which was it's tough to come back from.
Well, and like you were saying with the rebounds and the sizes of what we were playing, they were big young men, and we. And the Pennsylvania, at least they had the clock.
Yeah.
So we.
But it resets though.
I know that. But at least you could go. At least they had to get rid of the ball in 30 seconds, and you got if they pushed it all the way. That's why I like it a little bit.
Yeah.
Because
I like it. I love it.
You're going to get
Delaware, I think Delaware needs to get on that.
Yeah. I mean, I like that.
Yeah.
I do. I enjoy the go because that once again it's the speed of the game, and that's what it really is.
Yep.
The speed of the game. But no, it's really when you talk about it, it's really factual that these kids are big young guys, and they're not 6'3".
No.
They're like you say, 6'8" is like 6'7", 6'8". I mean, that's norm.
We were, I was texting yesterday with one of the kids that are coming in this year. He'll be a sophomore, and he was watching our YouTube channel. He said, and he was like, Coach, he's like, I was watching the highlights, and he's like, I really like number 3, which is Marvin,
right,
and I really like number 5, which is Ty. He's like, I really like their games. He's like, what do you think I can do to get like them? And I'm like, well, I was like, first and foremost, I was like, you got to work hard. I was like, Marvin works every day on his ball handling, his finishing. He does 200 some Mikins a day, all that kind of stuff. And I was like, Ty shoots a ton of shots. He goes to out train. I was like, it also helps, if God will bless you and be 6'6" like Ty. That doesn't hurt to be 6'6", and Marvin's 6'3".
Yeah.
So
and Marvin improved
a lot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he did. He came a long way because of the speed.
Yep.
And he was he could adjust.
Yep.
He was
exactly.
open to that, and he did. I'm when he's not there.
Well, yeah, that's what I was about to get to.
Go ahead.
I was about to get to. I was like, so I mean, all you really need to know is if you were here to watch the Olympus prep game. He fouled out. We're up 12. Our point guard, Marvin fouled out, up 12 in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
They came back, cut it all the way down to 2 in that fourth quarter without our point guard.
Yeah, no.
And there's two guys. If you watched games and whatnot, came to our games. There's 2 guys I never seemed to sub out, and the reasons why was one is Marvin, because we can't have him off the court for his ball handling purposes, and then 2 is Ty, because we can't take him off the court because of his rebounding ability. If you can't get the ball up the court at our level, and if you can't rebound at our level, you're in big trouble. So you can't take the best 2 at those respective things.
And I say Marvin, I mean, because he did. He came from game 1.
Yep.
A long way. And could just see it. I mean, I'm not.
Yeah.
But you could see it.
Yep.
I mean, you could see where he was.
Yeah. Well, I think
compared to where he ended.
Yeah. Well, I think he's another one that I think most people will know about Cam tearing his ACL, TJ tearing his ACL. Marvin tore his ACL.
Absolutely, yeah.
And actually, he had the shortest recovery time out of all of them. Like, he was only 8-9 months removed.
His surgery was late, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was late because of COVID. They were still pushing stuff back for COVID.
I remember that.
And I think the first couple of games, he actually wore a knee brace.
Yeah.
Because he still wasn't quite comfortable yet cutting on it yet. I mean, he got
moving.
cleared, obviously.
Yeah, no,
but
he was,
all
but
that
just
kind of
moving
stuff.
and pushing.
But just still, subconsciously, when you tear your ACL, I've never done it, but I know quite a few people who do, and they're like, subconsciously, like, even if you think you're okay, you still, like, somewhere in the back of your mind, when you make a hard cut, you're like, oh man, what if it happens again? So you're not quite there.
And we too, we push the opportunity and the work ethic, and you going out there and do it. They had to do more than the general student athlete or the athlete. They had to work through that, get cleared through that, and go through rehab and all that. Go ahead.
And on another note, and I know we beat it to death without train and all that stuff, but they, the 3 guys that tore their ACL, I mean, they taught it to everybody, but they really harped on the 3 guys that tore their ACL, which is one, getting their hips strong, getting their quads strong, all those kind of things strong, because they're, like they said, if you have any kind of imbalances, a lot of time your knee is the one that accommodates for the imbalances.
Right.
And then 2, just how to land, because they're like, if you don't know how to land on a basketball court, you're going to increase your chances of tearing an ACL just like that.
Yeah.
So like I said, I know I beat it to death with out-training, but they're great. There's a reason I beat it to
good
death.
guys. Yeah, we appreciate them.
But yeah, like you said, I think early on Marvin was just kind of testing it out,
Yeah.
and I don't know when it was, but he just at some point he just kind of clicked and was like, okay, my knee's good, I'm good to go. Let's go do this.
Yeah. But you could see it. Yeah. I mean, and that's the neat part about the young guys. The young men that they all three had to do that extra.
Yep.
You know, I'm not saying no one else didn't do the work, but they had to go through that mind game and everything else to get to the point where they can go out there and play.
Yep, absolutely. And anytime, for whatever reason, like I said, Marvin fouled out of a couple games. I think Ty fouled out of one. Anytime those two were off the court,
it hurt.
There was a noticeable difference.
Oh, yeah, it was a drop.
Noticeable difference.
Yeah. And like I said, once again, that's our fault.
Yeah.
Because we only take the 7 or 8 kids, but
But
we
again,
want them to play when we're up by,
but again, anyone that follows our Instagram and Twitter and all that stuff, when I post, I'm talking about recruiting kids and stuff. And
Right.
I tell them, I'm like, we have limited spots available
Right.
because we're not going to recruit over somebody.
Yeah.
We're not going to. And I talked to Gage about it. It was on last week's episode when I was like, I don't, when Gage was here, not because he was a bad kid or anything like that. I loved him from the get go.
Right.
But adding him when we already at that time had 7 bodies and adding him a month into our workouts. Everybody's here to play. Everybody's here to get seen. And if you're not playing, you're not getting filmed. You're not getting seen. So it's a fine line. You want to have bodies, but then you don't want to have too many to where people are getting seen.
Well, you said it in because I watched it in when you were doing here, and you said, was he worth it? Everybody's worth it.
Yeah.
But do we, our job is to get everybody out of here.
Yeah.
And the more kids we add to that list, the harder.
Harder it gets. Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And when you get up by 20 in a game and you start bringing kids off the bench, you're going to have 2 starters no matter what, always playing.
Yep.
And that's what we do. We want that because you got to that point. We want you to be seen at that point.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's like you say, catch 22 all the time.
Yeah,
but
it's a fine line.
But it is. He's a great guy, and I'm glad Ty gave his blessing.
Yeah. Yeah, that is funny.
Yeah,
Like I said,
yeah.
it was funny. We shot that, and I told that story. And beforehand, Gage didn't know I was going to say that. And he didn't know it first of all, and he didn't know. I didn't say anything to him. And then after the break, he looked at me. He's like, "Did that really happen?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "That really happened." I was like, because I didn't want to ask TJ. I was like, because he's your boy. I was like, he's your boy, so he's gonna talk you up no matter what. Right. And I was like, nobody else had seen you play besides Ty, so I called Ty. I was like, what do you think? And he, had Ty his over exaggeration with the yes. He's like, yes. He's like, he can play. We need to add him. So.
And that's one more thing.
And the rest is history.
And like you say, that's one thing we do here. We want everybody to succeed. We want to hear you.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, you're here to go somewhere.
Yeah, and I think it's really neat. And we talked about the camaraderie. Both Gage and Ty and their podcasts last 2 weeks have talked about the camaraderie. Ty talked about the Chick-fil-A's afterwards, talking, and then Gage talked about the bus rides, the family.
Well, I will tell you, every day they come through here, they come right in my room because I'm in 4th grade room, and they'll either give me a high five or hug me or say thank you. I mean, I Gage constantly.
Yeah.
He just was so appreciated.
But I think it's really neat to see them on like Twitter or Instagram when one of them gets an offer or when one of them gets committed. They all share it and they all comment, "Let's go, my guy, Gage," or "Ty, let's go."
And, and that's what we want to have with 7 or 8 guys. Come on, this is it.
It should be tight.
Yeah, this
should be
it.
tight.
Yeah,
and
like if not, we got to figure out why something's not clicking. So
something's not clicking.
Yeah, no.
But that's pretty much the end of us. The end of this episode season review. This was season 1, episode 10 season review. Next week will be, episode 11. We're going to talk about the episode is just going to be called "What's Next." So we're going to talk about our plans for the summer. What we're going on with out train, things we're trying to improve on. There's a couple conferences we've been trying to work on, maybe getting into in another state. So we're going to talk about some of those things and talk about what's next. Because like we've talked about countless times, I think we're doing things right, but we always want to improve.
Absolutely.
We always want to improve. Absolutely. We always want to kind of look at ourselves in the mirror and say, what can we do better to improve what we're doing?
Yep. No, I mean, man in the mirror. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. So until then, we'll see you next week.
God bless.